the clans of Kinjo Island. Come see the amazing clans of Kinjo Island. We have everything. We have birds. We have frogs. We've got some people. We've got a giant storm demons. Did I mention we have swans?
Up first, we're going to be looking at the frog people. This is where the creativity really begins. These frog ninjas are just fun. They remind me of Kung Fu Panda in their kind of playfulness and the kind of over the top kind of martial arts. They do it right. They're not stationary. Every single one of them is dynamically posed. The bases that they come with. Normally not a fan of bases like this, but this lily pad water base they come with works so well. And they print up so nicely. Each of the frogs has so much character. They have eye patches, little scars, just little bits and pieces for each one that make them totally unique. And to continue gushing about the Kung Fu Panda, let's talk about the Swan Folk. These are amazing Ronin or samurai models. There are several different variants, some with great weapons, some with spears, some with regular katanas, dual wielding, various poses. Once again, we come back to the posing. The posing here is everything. What Broken Anvil Miniatures has done here is they've captured both the elegance and the threat of a swan in a humanoid looking form. And that's really hard to do. Every single one of these minis has that kind of aura of reality to it that just screams lethality, selling that Ronin vibe. Let's talk about some of the various mythological creatures that you'll also get in this set. The umbrella is just hilarious. Just simply funny. It's got so much little charm. It's a cute little model. The dog, the guardian dog is all right. It's a good sculpt overall. It's nice and beefy. It's one that I think definitely needs a paint job to really kick it up. Kappa. The Kappa is kind of fun. This guy's playing with his belly button. I really do like the pose. It kind of really captures the spirit of this very well. And as for the snake, I mean, it's a snake. The Tengu. Oh boy. So you'll probably notice mine has a bit of an issue. But I really do like this model. I did not think I would, but it's got a lot of character. It very much encapsulates kind of the legends of the Tengu, captures their form. I really like that they give it a staff. Would be pretty easy to replace that with another weapon if you're looking to do so. It is a bit disappointing though that you only get one. Detail absolutely gorgeous. Really does look like a large overweight winged humanoid. Let's talk about the heroes from the set. Start with the Blacksmith. I really like this Blacksmith. With his metal hand, the grabbing claw, all of his various smithing tools on his back, the kind of over-the-top mustache that's at like a right angle. And it's a very nice sculpt that has a lot of draping, actually. No, the cloth drapes over him. It flows behind as he's walking. The outstretched arm and the way the chest on his shoulders kind of pushes him down, adds so much weight and so much attention to detail that you don't normally see in a lot of models. But let's talk about this Oni. Oh, I really like this Oni. I will even be willing to break my own rules about foot on rock syndrome, because this is how you do foot on rock right. He isn't just putting his foot on the rock. No. He's grabbing that rock with the hand and using it to move himself forward. Foot on rock is a problem because it makes stationary models. This solves all the problems from the stationary. And everything about him is just great. The size compared to the regular human, at this 32 mil scale, he is massive. The oversized limbs, this massive gauntlet shield on his arm. It's so much fun. The sheer size of the bloody sword. Okay. That plus the arms probably makes this probably the single most unique model, bar none, that I've seen that has this kind of theming to it. And yes, there is a face underneath there. This little gnome child model. I really want to like it. Now, I made two variants because I ended up with some extra. I made one with the default spear with a little imp hanging off of it, and another one with a extra hammer, just to see what I can make. And I'm not the hugest fan of this model. I suppose it would work as a halfling or a gnome, priest or witch hunter or something, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the outfit. It doesn't look that dynamic. The posing's a little static. In both variants, there's not that much interesting points that really draw me to it. Now, let's talk about this priestess. This priestess is a lesson in how to do silhouettes. The way she's posed, looking straight on, sword out, but the parasol shading her face is just brilliant. It shows such an understanding of what it's going to look like when you start to go in and paint and where your shadows are going to be. There's a good bit of lethality. But I'm not the biggest fan of how it connects the various sword arm and the kind of back sheath. It doesn't quite line up right, which may be just my resin, but I'm not the biggest fan of how it assembles. I like everything else, though. Once it's fully assembled, you're not really looking at the seam. All right, so let's talk about some of the models that you will not be seeing here. The summon tree spirits with the frogs riding them. These are really cool. I had a lot of trouble printing these, though. I'm not entirely sure why. They're a cool idea. Very much reminds me of Naruto. And the other ones that I had trouble printing out, the giant kunai with their frog riders. These are just hilariously over the top. Once again, same problem with the tree stumps that have come to life. I don't have a use for them outside, so I'm not gonna print. Likewise, I did not print any of the terrain pieces. They don't really fit any aesthetic style that I'd be interested in using. At the moment, I don't see a need for these. However, they do look pretty interesting. So I unfortunately ran out of resin and so had to make do with what I had to get this model printed up, which is why you see that the base is, well, a bit of an issue. I only printed the Raijin because, quite frankly, I want to print things that I have a use for, and the Fujin would not see a lot of play. It's a very thematic model, it's a very characterful model, but it's not something that will be able to find an easy place in my personal collection. Oh boy, I love this Storm Demon. This is just probably one of the coolest Japanese demon models I have ever seen, period. Oozing menace. The character that's been captured within the sculpture is just perfect. The various clubs, the sword, the limbs going in all directions, kind of the over the topness of having this entire drum set up over his head and back is just wow. You have captured this creature perfectly. And the hair, can we talk about the hair? This is that really thick, flowing, long locks done perfectly in resin. Just perfectly captured. Well done. This creature has all the aggression within the model. The leaping off the rock, bit cliche, but it works here, and you really need it because you got to capture that floatiness. And what this really does feel like is a force of nature descending onto the battlefield. Very much looking forward to getting a little bit of paint on this one. Obviously, I did have a few printing issues. The bell didn't form, some of the ropes didn't form on the weapons. Without a doubt, the highlight of the set. Clans of Kinjo Island. In terms of theme, I have to give this an 8 out of 10. There is a lot of really playful mythological elements, anthropomorphic elements, just brilliantly mixed and mashed together here. It just works. Not a fan of the terrain. I don't think I get what they were going for, but personally I think it just adds even more, kind of bloats out the set a bit more than it entirely needs to. In terms of sculpts alone, they're really good across the board. I'm gonna have to give you a solid 9 out of 10. In terms of playability, though, here's where we're gonna run into some issues. Anthropomorphic animals with weapons is a very specific niche. And as such, I have to be kind of critical here. But also, you get an amazing storm demon out of this set, and some very nice individual models, and some nice mythological creatures. So I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna call it a 7 out of 10. Now, in terms of printability, I had all kinds of issues. This may be the one area where it may be a bit more subjective, but there are a lot of little tassels, little bits, and pieces here and there that will easily snap off if you are not very careful. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, just because of how much personal trouble I had with some of these models. And there you have it. Clans of Kinjo Island by Broken Anvil Miniatures. I really like this set. You get a lot for $40 USD. There's a lot here. If you can get this on sale, I would highly recommend it. And that's another STL file review done. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And this has enlightened you a little bit. So remember to hit that subscribe button for more. And if you have or know of another STL file that I should review at some point, leave a comment down below.